Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Donald Trump's latest loss in the DC Circuit. This concerns the gag order, and it's got a little bit of a history, as you may remember. Judge Chutkan, at the behest of Jack Smith, imposed a gag order on Trump that was basically designed to keep him from intimidating witnesses and polluting the jury pool. That is her lookout. And Trump was automatically attacking it as a supposed prior restraint under the First Amendment. As I pointed out then, that's just a category error, really. It's not a First Amendment issue. It's a control of the courtroom, of her courtroom by Chutkan issue. And it's true that it potentially concerns some slice of political speech or speech that a politician is making, but it's that speech that could be damaging to the integrity or orderliness of a trial proceeding, and you don't need any kind of special additional First Amendment justification to shut that down. If you did, gag orders immemorial would be invalid. So Trump made that argument and he lost it in the DC circuit, but the circuit did agree that Chutkan had fashioned it a little too broadly. And in particular, as Chutkan had done, but they sliced it a little more finely, giving a little bit more play in the joints to Trump. And for example, they held that the order shouldn't prohibit Trump from trashing Jack Smith, who isn't in trial, but is just running things as much as Trump wants. And Trump immediately followed suit and totally went after him. And just in general, as Chutkan had done, they made it clear that there was an issue about the clarity of the order having to do with intimidating witnesses. So it really has to be something that could, in fact, affect testimony. So they made a few little tweaks to the order. They then sent it back down to Chutkan, who basically applied it straight up. And this is the worry in general with Trump, and I'm scared of this in the immunity context, he got another round, not a round that suspended the proceedings below, because you don't get one for these, for the appeal of a gag order. But he got another round, went to the DC Circuit, and the panel held, nope, everything's fine. Judge Chutkan did just as we asked her, and followed the law. He then moved the entire en banc court of the DC Circuit, so all active judges, to review it. So that's, a play for time and delay, although since the gag order is in effect, it doesn't really matter. But it was that was denied today, and somewhat significantly, not a single judge, including I think there are 3 Trump appointees, voted to hear it. And, they obviously thought there's nothing there and gave it back of the hand. The Supreme Court will do the same, I think, if Trump tries to now petition for cert. And since it shouldn't occasion any kind of delay in the overall proceedings, if he does, it's really not a very momentous thing. It's not like, most importantly, the immunity issue, which is now working its way up, is now we await the issuance by a DC Circuit panel of the opinion any day. And indeed, as things go on a little longer, it looks more likely that maybe that panel of 3 didn't find it easy, and perhaps Judge Henderson, the Republican appointee of George H.W. Bush, was, writing something different, and we would be watching that closely to see if that occasions a new round of remands and delay. But the DC Circuit, nothing there, not a single judge votes for him to hear it. And it's pretty much a, back of the hand rebuke. And he might well go to the Supreme Court, doesn't really matter. And I think there's a general lesson here that Chutkan has absorbed. And as I've always emphasized, there's nothing wrong with her doing this, and I have reason to think that she does. She confers cautiously and at length with different judges, members of the court, to have a sense of what they can do that the circuit court will affirm. Remember, all the judges on this court have had all kinds of January 6th cases. And I think that this situation where Trump is threatening the integrity of the process or even the safety of individual witnesses, you can expect courts to be very solicitous of Chutkan. And the same thing with, in other places where gag orders are in the offing. So courts of appeals, for example, the Engoron case involving the New York fraud allegations by the AG Letitia James, which, by the way, we should get an opinion on in next week, maybe a week from tomorrow. But in any event, judges are aware of the danger he poses and are going to give courts a lot of room, I think, to try to control those regulated, and will be very conscious of sort of not wanting to pull the rug out from under them once they issue gag orders, as Chutkan has done here. So not exactly the end of the road, but the road ain't going anywhere, and we'll see if he appeals to the Supreme Court. But for now, DC Circuit is done with it. Not a single judge votes to rehear it. And maybe he has 90 days to petition for cert. But as I say, it's not holding things up, so it really doesn't matter very much. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.